Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to a different episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. I'm your host, that's used very loosely, Mike, and we're in association with Lucky Star Gym. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to organise this week, so very, very kindly, Finlay and Jenny have both given us their views, and you'll hear from them shortly. Don't forget, like, share this episode. Definitely tell me what you think about just people talking to camera, because that might be much easier for me. But yeah, share us like on social medias at Sutton Podcast, and thank you to everyone who does that on a regular basis. Yeah, here's Finlay to start.
And breathe. Wow. Good evening, everybody. Hello, Mike. Hope everybody is well. I'm sure everyone saw, Mike unfortunately can't do a podcast this evening, so asked me just to jump on and give you kind of some of my thoughts on yesterday. I think if someone was to ask you to define a perfect, entertaining FA Cup tie, I think looking at Sutton versus Farnham is probably a pretty good place to start. It was a brilliant game yesterday. I've taken some strepsils. I've looked over my commentary notes. I've composed myself because my mind went blank after the game. It feels like such a blur. Everything was going on. There was so much adrenaline, so much tension, so much excitement, so much running. Yeah, it was a fantastic game of football. Line-up wise, Farnham made 2 changes. Sutton, we made 3. Nadesan, Ogbonna, Tizard dropping to the bench. I expected us to make changes. The quick turnaround from Saturday to Tuesday. Even at Premier League level, you don't expect teams to stay unchanged. Especially with Chris saying that there were players that had cramp. Ogbonna did take a knock on the aftermath of a challenge, so definitely wasn't expecting him to start. It was good to see that he was at least in the squad, because the impact that he had was invaluable, which I'll get onto in a minute. The benching headache, which I know myself, Andrew and Mike were all talking about. Would it be Njuku? Would it be Nadesan? Chris went with Njuku, which I do think is the right decision. Njuku, I think he's just in a better state of mind mentally on the football pitch. A goal and an assist on Saturday, 4 goals this season. He's looking really energetic. He's looking in real confidence. And that's what you want. The striker starting in a big game, in an FA Cup replay, you want the striker to be in form. And unfortunately for Nadesan, at this current moment in time, isn't him. But I do think Nadesan being benched could actually be a really big positive. Because for him personally, it might be at the start, I'm not scoring the goals. I'm not doing what I was doing in pre-season. I've been brought in to put the ball in the back of the net, and it's not happening. So from that perspective, you can think, his confidence is just going to keep on going down. But on the flip side of that, it could be a bit of a wake-up call, thinking, I wasn't scoring, but I was still playing. Now I'm benched in an FA Cup replay. I've got to start scoring some goals. I've got to start making something happen. And he came off the bench, and boy, he did just that. Personally, I thought that was his best performance of the season. He came on and he really flourished in that wide position. whenever Simper or Mo got it out to him on the wide flank on the right, kind of inside the penalty area, he put 4 or 5 fantastic balls in across the 18-yard box. Aaron Jones nearly had one. His shot obviously just went wide. I think definitely from the gantry and a TV perspective, it looks like an easier chance than what it was. Obviously, Jonesy's running onto it, and he ended up in the crowd. So, he's running onto it with full swing. It's a bit of a tight angle as well. Similar to the one Nadesan had against the Oval a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? Which was a fantastic save by their keeper. But Nadesan fought really, really good since coming when he came on. And he set up Will Tizard. And the story of the season for Sutton really has been whether we just score and get back in the game or we get something from the game, it's all stemmed from the bench. And yesterday, Ogbonna, goal and assist for Simper. Nadesan, assist for Tizard. And Will Tizard getting the goal. And if you look at that bench of Nadesan, Tizard, Ogbonna, Eccleston, and you said to me, right, one of them is going to come off the bench and score, I wouldn't have said Will Tizard, but brilliant. Really pleased for Tizard, obviously coming back from injury as well. Really, really pleased for him. And 120th minute, there's no better time, no better feeling in front of the home end to score the winner. Mo Dabre coming in. I said on Sunday, actually, I really want him to start. I remember Steve said when he kind of first got his first minutes against Rochdale, he's one of those players that he gives 100% every game. And that's something that you can't coach. You've either got it or you haven't, which makes Mo such a valuable member of the Sutton squad. And he was brilliant. He was kind of picked the ball up where Phipps was kind of playing on Saturday, and he just drove forward 15, 20, 25 yards, went forward. He had a couple of shots straight at the goalkeeper, or laid it off to Bootin or Simper or Jones on the right to try and make something happen. So he was brilliant. Bootin, we said again on Sunday, without Vincent or Bootin on the left flank, was probably why Owen Dean had a field day. So despite Noah Bootin being a wing back, there's still that proper defensive cover, which shone, because when Farnham got it back, and it was Mason, whether it was Mason or Owen Dean or Jack Dean or Sanders or Mackenzie trying to get Farnham forward, Bootin was there to be that extra cover. And he was brilliant. He got him behind, nearly set up Jane Harris in the first half, a good ball across. Harris couldn't quite reach it. And the 3 goals that Sutton scored, brilliant. Lewis Simper, probably the pick of the bunch. Brilliant. Top right corner. Ogbonna, equally as good. His drive, his pace to just evade the challenges of Mason and Ryan Kinane and Jackson to get in behind. He was brilliant. And Tizard's goal, absolute bedlam. Brilliant. I have seen comments though, and this is what's quite interesting, to say that the better team might have lost. I do agree to some extent. Farnham could have been 2-3-0 up going into half time. It was a brilliantly well taken goal by Bobby Joe Taylor. Taylor was then set away again in behind and he hit the post. But I think David did quite well to kind of make himself big and narrow the angle. Daryl Sanders as well, edge of the box, curled his shot, hit the post. Looked like it was going in the top right corner. And unfortunately in football, the line is, if you don't take your chances, it will come back to bite you. And for Farnham, unfortunately, for them it did. But Sutton, again, like we said, the spirit, the togetherness to come back 3 times. And they did it again yesterday in front of their home fans as well, which really there's more pressure to perform. But yeah, it took 5 attempts, but Sutton finally took the lead. And I think we were all expecting a very different game of football, of one which Sutton would dominate and Farnham would just be penned in for 90 minutes. But Farnham, it was still the beautiful game of a counter-attack of football, and they looked so dangerous on the break. And I'm gutted they're out from the perspective of, I've really enjoyed watching them. They're a really good, exciting team. But brilliant brilliant decisions made by Chris throughout the whole game. Even with Ogbonna, when he first came on, he started on the left. He was then juxtaposed to the right-hand side, and him against Mason was a fantastic battle. But as the minutes went on, fatigue, Ogbonna was able to have more freedom, and he was brilliant. Nadesan great, Charlie Bell coming on as well, really good, covering that Mo Dabre role. And yeah, credit to Farnham, thought they were absolutely excellent. Nothing, away from Farnham, they were brilliant. And it was another point, looking at the draw, Telford at home. For Sutton, you might wonder with motivation. Last year it was Birmingham at home in round one, and all of a sudden, context-wise, it's like Championship side at home. Wow, this is a team that are now dominating. Having a really good season in the Championship. Sorry, they're in League One last season. What we're talking about, a team that were promoted to the Championship. It's been a long day, but no. Telford, you might have thought maybe Farnham might have a little bit more motivation for the tie, because for Farnham it's still a team above them in the National League North. But Telford, a team not to be underestimated at all, put 6 past Darlington in the 4th qualifying round, beat Kidderminster as well, 3-1. I think they beat Dorchester as well. So they've played some good teams, they've got some very good results, and they've scored goals. And it was a brilliant game yesterday. And Hartlepool next for Sutton on Saturday. They're teasing us though, the TV cameras, 5:30 kickoff, so you just know Saturday's going to drag. But I think I mentioned on Sunday, Hartlepool also had a replay, and there was a cup upset. They lost 3-1 against Gainsborough. So from a morale perspective, Sutton edge Hartlepool. And luckily, despite Sutton going to extra time and playing that additional half an hour, Hartlepool have also had to been forced to play another 90 minutes. So Sutton, I do think, 3 unbeaten now under Chris, 6 goals scored, one clean sheet. Sutton, I think it really could be a turning point in this. And Chris, I think he said on social media and in his interview, really praised the fans yesterday. And he said it was no coincidence that all 3 goals were scored in front of the home end. The fans were great. And even speaking to Chris personally after the game, he's loving it here. He really is enjoying his time here. He's loving the fans, he's loving the staff. And small things like that is a big building block for success. And there was one final thing I was going to say. David Isaiah, we spoke about how impactful he was on Saturday. And yesterday, nothing he could do about the first goal. The second goal, he didn't command his area to the knowledge and the expectation that we expect of him and that he is capable of. But it's one thing a goalkeeper making a mistake, but then it's another thing, being able to capitalise. And Farnham did that well with Owen Dean. But Farnham, absolutely brilliant. But Sutton, we scored more, good 3 goals. Nadesan, Simper, Ogbonna, Tizard, Mo, pick any player on the pitch, and they had an impactful performance. So it's Hartlepool next. So Mike, I hope that's okay. We're into round 1 and only a couple of weeks away now from Telford, I think the 1st of November. So Mike, have a good evening. Hope this is okay. Cheers.
So, what have I got to say about Tuesday? Well, firstly, Farnham, excellent side, well organised, fit. I thought they were getting a bit leggy in the extra time period, but I thought they were good all round. They're a good side. And whether they're playing above themselves because it was the FA Cup and they raised their game, I don't know. They look a good side. Great away support as well. Our team. Yeah, they started well. We didn't let a goal in the first 5 minutes, which I was really pleased about. when we play out from the back, I just feel, I don't know if that's right, we seem to hold on to the ball a little bit too long. If we play up from the back, don't dilly-dally with it, because the opposition get time to move back, get into their defensive positions, set up nicely, and we can't get through. I'm not complaining about that, but as soon as the ball's rolled out to the player, be a little bit snappy. We see it in the warm-ups. They must do it in training, but when we're on the pitch, when we're in a match, they just seem to slow it down. Again, I put that down to lack of confidence and not wanting to do it wrong, lose the ball. But invariably, we often did. Up front, we had some brilliant movement in that. Yeah, Ogbonna, the players down the wings. I'd have loved to have seen Dylan play, but obviously he was on international duty. But when we cross the ball, often, we got no one to tap it in. We haven't got a poacher, and we need a poacher. But what I will say is, really pleased for the manager. First game at home, first win for him in all competitions. And it was the first win for me. I wasn't there when we beat Carlisle. So it's the first time I've seen us win this season. And it was a relief. Simper's goal, having been sitting behind in that stand, absolutely awesome. Brilliant. Let's have some more. Come on, lads. Hopefully that's built their confidence up. They're not a bad side. Just a few more matches, a few more goals. Hopefully the extra time hasn't taken too much out their legs. Let's go again against Hartlepool and let's get a league win that I can see, but also that we can start moving up the table. So it's not all bad, but it's lots still left to do. But let's go for it. So good luck for Saturday and well done. First round of the FA Cup.
Okay, and that's it. Thank you very, very much to both Jenny and Finlay for all their thoughts and their opinions and helping me out. We're back again after the Hartlepool match, where you'll hear me waffling on a bit. For the predictions, obviously I didn't ask those guys to put them in, but for the predictions, the AI has gone for 1-0 to Sutton with Brandon to score. And I'm going to go a little bit more exciting, and I'm going to say it's going to be 3-1. And who am I going to pick? I'll tell you what, I will pick... David Ogbonna to score first. So that's another episode of Sutton United Talk Time podcast done. Let us know your thoughts, get your messages in, share on social media, and in association with Lucky Star Gin. And thank you to Jenny and Finlay. I know I've said that lots, but I really do mean it. Take care, and we'll catch up soon. Bye bye.